I'm in the house.
Okay, we will call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Born and unborn. Go ahead, Sam, I'll be right back.
Okay, minutes and reports received and filed.
Yeah, we have the recorder of deeds, August 2021 fees, and we have the county clerk's August of 2021 fees.
Okay, Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports, upcoming meetings, events. You get to go first, Harry.
Thursday morning, Cole County Communities meeting, and then Thursday afternoon, there is a press conference. We'll hear more about later, perhaps.
Yeah.
I got some kind of hazard mitigation planning meeting tomorrow, 10 to noon, Public Works. Cole County Extension meeting this week. Eastside Business Association Friday morning. I think that's about it.
Yeah, I've got communities too, but we haven't received anything yet, so I sent that to Sean to ask. We also on Thursday, Debbie Hamler's retiring from the Special Learning Center, so that's from 4 to 6 at McClung Park. Friday, I've got a Gold Star dinner. Saturday, the Gold Star Monument dedication is at 11 a.m., I think. Piccadilly and White downtown Saturday night. Monday, we've got a WebEx at 8, Bicentennial Bridge dedication at 2, and then we will not, next week our meeting will be on Wednesday instead of Tuesday because Tuesday is the bicentennial ceremony at the Capitol. So Harry's going to get us VIP seats. And then so Wednesday will be our commission. And that is all I've got. We're going to move things around a little bit and go to the 2020 budget discussion for court system. So we can have, yes.
Thank you. As you may recall, there's a process for doing this. The courts are required to meet with the commission. We met with Kristen, kind of give you where we're going or what we're looking at and topics so we can have this discussion before we submit a final budget. So I thought I would kind of go over the highlight stuff, answer any questions that you have. To the extent the pre-trial questions are here, I have those people here. We're not addressing juvenile as we did last year. We're gonna let that be separate and handled in the traditional county budget. Not that there's not a lot of stuff to talk about there, but I think that how we did that before. I sent you guys kind of a note of the stuff we wanted to cover. I thought there were the changes. The first thing is we got to have some help with cleaning, and I know how hard it is to hire help and get some stuff in there, but we don't have any janitorial service in the building save for taking out the trash and cleaning the toilets once each morning. And we ran a jury trial all there last week. There were problems with the toilets. There's no cleaning going on. And we don't want to be in the cleaning business. We don't want to have that put in our budget and be responsible for hiring and firing of cleaners. But we have to have some help in that building. The traffic we have there is too high. There's too many people that come in that building. They use the bathrooms. They are not as neat as you would like them to be. We got to have some help with cleaning. Second thing, which is on the horizon, is repair of the large courtroom. If you've been in there, there's paint and peeling wallpaper. I mean, literally peeling off the walls. A lot of the lights in the front don't work. The carpeting is worn, and the jury seats need a reupholstering, and I just encourage everybody to come by and take a look if you've not done that already. We're going to be asked for some money. Judge Limbaugh has no office chair, and the bench chair is broken. From looking at MVE, we're in the $1,200 to $1,500 range for 2 of those chairs. We would like to get sound recording for Division 2. Circuit judges have court reporters, and they follow that judge around. But in order to control the volume of people in the building, when we're doing orders of protection, which is often our second or third largest docket we run in the building, Judge Green comes down and does it down in Judge Limbaugh's courtroom. We send Judge Limbaugh up to Judge Green's room, but there's no sound recording there in that particular courtroom. And that system is about $12,000 to do that, and we think we need to do that so Judge Limbaugh can do the hearings that he's got to do on Thursday mornings, because he doesn't have a court reporter. The fifth one is not a biggie, but we'd like to get the courthouse keys, locks rekeyed. And I didn't bring Donnie with me, but I have 8 keys that I use on a daily basis to operate in the courthouse. And then I don't know, Scott Parrish, who I take a second to introduce. Scott replaced Elbert in Division I, but
That's not all.
that's probably half of the keys it takes to run the courthouse. And we talked to Kevin Hunton at Tyler's, and he thought in the $1,500 range, we could reduce it to 3 to 4 keys. And that made some sense to us, and I think that would probably help you guys as well. I mean, I watched these guys spend, 5 minutes going through a key run. We've got them marked, but when you have that many keys to do that. And like I said, that was, his estimate was about $1,500, depending upon how many actual keys we had to make. Computer and monitor for the security station. They have to go to that back door to bring people in through the handicapped access. And they had asked for, and I thought reasonable, they could get you have to have a computer or monitor to do this, got on the camera system so they could see that back door, then they had a little better idea of what they were dealing with. And the 7th item is the 2nd floor detention area. Now, with COVID, we're having trouble getting anybody to give us any sort of bids on anything. And then, I mean, like Jeff could probably tell you what it costs to do any of this stuff. Then you add prevailing wage on top of it, and then no one can tell you this is. But we're looking for a detention area, kind of like we have in behind my courtroom, to put on the 2nd floor in the marshal's office. And this is something that's going to happen if we lose the detention area downstairs. But we really have nowhere to detain people who are arrested on the 2nd floor. And that's our high volume floor for criminal conduct, criminal cases. Hopefully not a lot of criminal conduct.
So do we have room, a space to do that
There's
in the
a
marshal?
space in an office, we think,
Okay.
I mean, it's, we're not talking about anything as big as in my courtroom, but to be able to detain a couple of
Okay.
people. Because, there are times when we don't have anybody downstairs, they're in transport. And everybody works really well, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate the hard work of the sheriff's department. But there are times when we need to detain people, and that takes a person, if we don't have at least a place to put them where they could do at least more than one thing. We'd like to update a hearing assist systems. We've had some systems in the past and they've been pretty poor, but a juror who's hard of hearing, I can move them up front, but if that's not enough for them, then they can't hear. Sometimes it's a participant in the courtroom who is hard of hearing, and we've got some obligations under ADA to assist those people. And so we'd like to get, an upgraded hearing assist system. We think that's about $2,000. The rest of the budget changes that are in the book and that we're working through with Christian, just kind of hit the highlights there. One of which is, and I'll let Donnell come in and specifically address that, is increasing the hours and the rate for the part-time allocation to the clerk's office to help with the microfilming and things like that. And I'm gonna let Donnell present that when the time comes for that. But, we're paying $11 an hour, we're paying $13.50 pretty much everywhere else. I think $13.65 is what the state pays on the part-time contracts. And we have, we lost 3 people Friday in the clerk's office. We have enough trouble trying to recruit people to come to work in the clerk's office, and the part-time people are essential just for the continuity that they add to those changes. So that in the clerk's office, that's pretty much the change that Donnell had asked for. Circuit court services, which are basically the judges, there's a couple of different things. We have traditionally bought liability insurance for the judges. Judge Green and I have spent some time looking at this I talked for a long time with Joe Danduran, who was a retired judge with the Attorney General's office. We think the current status of the law and the current performance of the Attorney General's office is, we think the legal defense fund is probably adequate to respond to litigation like that. And what we were proposing was taking that money that we would normally spend and adding it to education and training in two pieces. About 2/3 of it, I think it's officially $6,500 is what I said, to put to the judges. And because as we do more specialty things, there's more specialty trainings. There's drug court trainings, which I'm sure you've all heard about it. There's juvenile court trainings, which are there. There are trainings for going to developing a domestic violence court. And I'd kind of like to get, if the opportunity presents itself, to get at least Judge Stumpy to the National Judicial College for just judicial officer training. That's something we did up to, well, I think I'm the first judge who didn't get to go. And we haven't done that since that time, which is a really good training on basic how to run a courtroom and stuff like that. So we were taking that approximately $10,000 and splitting it 65-35, going to the next place, which is pretrial release. Now, I've got pretrial people here to talk. There are a couple things I wanted to address there. One of which is I wanted to move about $3 grand of that insurance money to pretrial for training, and they can explain more about that. We looked at adding some mileage components because our pretrial officers have to go places to check on people. And I wanted to take office supplies to $300 because, I mean, we beg, borrow, and steal stuff, but one printer cartridge is pretty much your budget. And we were trying really hard to, I don't want to say isolate, but consolidate pretrial expenses so you've got a good idea of what it actually costs. Because, you know, for a program that started out with me asking for $35,000 about 7 years ago, it's a fairly large program, but at the same time, I think it's under $5 a day.
$435.
Yeah, you know, so the $435 that we have somebody on pretrial release frees that bed bay, you know, that bed available for something else, either for the, I think I have 26 people in there on murder, robbery first, or assault first. It frees that bed up for that, or you could sell it to the feds at substantially more than $4.35. We were working back and forth on the salaries, and I think that's just probably a misunderstanding. What they submitted to us was, Mary Ann is our part-time person. It looks to me like we're on budget for approximately 1,000 hours at the rate that she is. And what the numbers that they had given me was like 1,500 hours. And my concern was we'd missed something, but based on where we are this year, I think we want to be right back where we were last year on that rate, which was about $18,000. So we will not be asking for a change on that. Just what they gave me was different than what we were actually doing. So we're going to change that back. Last, when it comes to security, you know, part-time, we're going to ask for $21,000 again, but we're going to ask to raise the rate to $21. The Supreme Court is going to pay $25. Jeff City is higher than that on part-time stuff. Capitol Police is higher than that on part-time stuff. And this will be for part-time marshals to cover vacations and to work jury trials. We did conduct the first civil jury trial in Cole County since January of 2020. So we at least get some stuff there. The big item down there, we've raised up our request as for equipment maintenance. This does two things, one of which is the preventive maintenance service on the x-ray machine. It's my understanding we lost the last x-ray machine because no one came by to clean it. It literally cooked itself to death. And so we're trying not to have that problem now. And so that we have the x-ray people, they came down, scheduled, literally it's a cleaning of the inside of the machine and double checking that it meets all the requirements there. The other thing we added on some extra money for was expansion and updating of the panic button system. Ultimately, The panic button system will communicate with the radios, which we're working on getting for the marshals that were approved program. The big number is, we usually have about $6,500 for meeting and training and travel. We've added about $16,010 to that. That's to send, we have 4 people who need to go to FLETC. The statute requires that marshals go to this federal training. They've not offered it. They're starting to offer it now. We think the cost, that's a one-time cost. That's not an annual cost, but to get them down there and get them through that training. And that's why that number has gone from 6,500 to 24,500. The last thing in bailiff's miscellaneous, we've asked to raise that up some because training ammo, as every department in the country has found out, you know, if you can get it, it's expensive. Hopefully it will come down some, and historically we've, you know, not spent all of that, but I wanted to have that available. So that's sort of the highlights of the changes that we're asking for as compared to the 2021 amended budget. And I'd be glad to answer any questions. To the extent that you have specific pretrial questions, I've made them come down here for that purpose.
The security machine
Yes.
cleaning, that's not anything we do, it's.
No, we have to hire somebody to do it, it's an X-ray company. But when we lost the last machine, my understanding was, because nobody cleaned it, you know, and I mean, this isn't like a maintenance contract, it's like changing the oil in your car. It's, you know, we're not paying for stuff we're not getting, but I'd hate to lose another machine simply because nobody opened it up, cleaned everything out, and made sure it was working correctly. It's preventing maintenance.
Back to the, or over to the insurance thing that you mentioned, that typically, other counties haven't been paying that premium, have they?
There's probably a dozen counties, I think the last time I asked about that, we're still doing it. You know, there was a date and time that we were concerned about the adequacy of the representation and or the response of the law enforcement, or the legal defense fund of the state. So, you know, Judge Green talked about this, and I talked a long time with Joe Danduran, who's a retired judge, who was with the Attorney General's office for a long time. And what he had done, he had gone through the sort of same analysis, and they came to that analysis that he thought that we were okay. And that's why we suggested that money could be better used in different places.
Got it.
I think we need to get Judge Limbaugh some shares.
It is, we'd been on this a little bit sooner, we just have been that busy. And I was unaware the chair in the courtroom was broken. You know, he's got like just a regular chair that he's using behind his desk, and we could give him a hard time about that, but Judge Green brought to my attention that when he had returned to the courtroom, that chair was broken. And I wondered why he didn't take it, and now I know.
I think that we ought to do,
So,
yes.
but anyhow, that's sort of the highlights there, and I would be glad to visit with any one of you on, you know, that you had individual questions as to what was there. But like I said, those are the big things that we'll be asking for, because like I said, we run Judge Green downstairs to do the order of protection docket, because that's probably our second or third largest docket coming through the building, rather than having all those people troop upstairs and all those people troop downstairs. The room is a little bigger where Judge Limbaugh is, but when we send Judge Limbaugh upstairs, there's not a lot of work he can do because there's no sound recording. So, and
Richard, how many do we have on pretrial release right now?
We have about 250 people, Judge. We're up about 50 people from last year, average.
You're still running people through the courthouse now, right? Or they have to stand outside?
we are trying to address the COVID thing. I think I sent you an email on that.
Right.
We've gone back to masking. You know, the CDC had recommended, you know, masking when they've been inside. The new studies suggest that vaccinated people can still get and convey the vaccine. We are trying very desperately not to stack people outside. But the trade-off for that has been masking. I've asked all the judges to run what I call defendant-centric dockets. We like to run our dockets in alphabetical order because that's how it prints out on our paper, okay? But I said, you know, for example, my docket is, I run in, we've organized each courtroom to not overcrowd them. And then, you know, ask judges to run the dockets by who's there, which is a little bit harder on our side, but it reduces the time that people have to
So
bill.
I mean, I guess I don't have to come up with this in another couple of months if it starts getting cold again to try to set up a tent outside or something that we talked about
We're-
last year. But how come we can't put some kind of vestibule there in the very front entry, and the clerk, circuit clerk, puts somebody there to either, they've got a list of who's available, and then you all can pull that person in or tell people, that way they're not stacking up on the inside, walking around and what have
Well,
you.
that's one of our goals with working with the radio system, as soon as the Chinese release the chips for the radios. But
And get cars too then.
Yeah.
But I
But
mean,
they're made in
what-
Taiwan.
That shouldn't have anything to do with the marshals. It's not the marshal's job to be
Well,
looking up people's
I-
cases and stuff,
That's a
so.
discussion you'll have to have with the clerks on.
Okay, but I mean, is that something that should make
Well, that's
it
something
work
that always helps.
smoother, more efficient?
Yeah, I mean, it takes hands down there.
Okay, so
to
you
do
know
that.
that they are the state. They don't really play well with us when we ask them to do stuff like that, so.
Well.
Who do we need to talk to about that? Cause it would be nice.
That is an illustration of how little control I have with the clerk's office, okay? I mean, and statutorily, that's an independent elected official.
But, yeah, I feel your pain.
Okay,
So-
so I think that's a conversation that I would encourage you to have with Donnell on how to do that. But what we're doing is, for example, on my dockets, through this intermediate time with COVID, you know, we have a list of people, and here's your new court date. If you're not gonna get any business done with the court today, then come back in, you know, 30 or 60 days. That reduces the people in the building. But-
Right, and we were just talking about maintenance stuff earlier too, you know, the fewer people we have with nothing to do and but cause trouble in our building and tear stuff up or make a mess, the better it is, so it
But
works.
we are
Helps
trying,
us too.
you know, and I don't have any directives from anybody, you know, on the social distancing aspect of it, but that's the thing that kills us is the social distancing. So that's why we went back to masks earlier. We're one of the first courts in the state to do that. Supreme Court now has adopted our rule.
Well, you're still open, so.
We are trying very desperately to get stuff through the building. We've encouraged all the judges to go back and use more video. Like I said, we went back to the process where if nothing's going to happen on your case today, here's your new court date. You don't need to come upstairs. You can go on, and so everybody's working on those procedures which reduce the traffic in the building, because we want very desperately not to stop. That just kills us. We are doing not a bad job of keeping up. We are slowly inching, you know, the progress from where we were the first of the year for where we were at the end of the second quarter. We've made progress with case age. Judge Limbaugh and Judge Stumpy have done an incredible job downstairs in case age of just getting cases through and reducing the number of cases. At the same time, we seem to have a lot more crime. The felony cases have gone up, way up. When I started looking at the totals of felony cases, I mean, we're probably carrying 100 regular felony cases more than we normally do. And that's a group of citizens that I've got no control over in terms of what they're doing. So, I mean, everybody's working to do those things because we don't like the stacking the people outside, and, you know,
Yeah, I've
we
just
don't-
heard about people coming in and not really know what's going on, and, you know, the marshals are doing their job, they don't have time to do the clerk's job, so it's becoming
I
an
think
issue.
that's a
so.
conversation that has to happen between this body and the clerk's office.
Is this chair broke? I mean,
I didn't go down and sit in it, I took Judge Green's word for it.
so, I mean,
It's
we
broken.
gotta have,
Okay.
you gotta have a chair for it. We don't
Yeah.
want a judge in a bad mood, you know.
Well, and like I said, that, you know,
But we
I really
we have
intend-
to have money for chairs.
Yeah,
So,
and-
I don't know, we gotta be able to get a chair.
Yeah,
That shouldn't even
well,
have to wait till budget time if it's broken, because.
No, it needs
we
to
just
be
go ahead,
now.
should we just go ahead and, I mean, MVEs,
Let us figure that out.
then
That shouldn't
Debbie
take
let me know how
budget
to do
time.
it.
If it's
Okay.
something that he can limp along on, that's fine, but if it's
Well,
legitimately
we-
broken, get it,
Okay.
Okay.
We've lived.
Tell him to go get John's chair and just swap them. No, but we need to take care of that.
Okay.
That's an easy one to knock off the list. So.
Yeah.
And then we need to look at the other stuff as far as capital improvements, and we can work with Greg on that.
Okay.
Start biting them off a bite at a time.
And I'll just say, the courts has a great plan dealing with people and COVID inside there. But one of the mainstays to help with that is the radios that you guys gave money for the CARES. But we can't get A&W Communications to give us the radios that we ordered, nor give us the loaners that they asked for. So we've actually contacted Wireless USA, and they are giving us some loaner radios, so they're stepping up. And hopefully A&W Communications off Bubba Lane, hopefully sooner or later, they will contact us back and let us know what's going on with those radios.
Who was that?
A&W Communications.
Okay.
Okay, just want to clarify.
Okay.
And we appreciate the support of the sheriff because the license that we need for the radios actually rides with the sheriff's license. It was quicker, more efficient, and less expensive to tag onto his license. And the way the system would work conceptually is because we're talking all the time to detention and moving people, that puts the courts available to talk to them. And then one of the things we're doing with the panic button system is that would also employ that radio system. So I can't steal any more money from the sheriff than he's already offered.
Sure you
But
can.
We appreciate the support of the
I'm
sheriff.
sure you'll find a way, so.
These guys are telling me they got some ideas. So anyhow, that's sort of the large ideas of the stuff that we're looking for, and we'd like to have some more conversations about it. But under the statute, that's kind of how we thought the best way to bring it to you.
Do you have
Yep.
a hard copy of that budget that we can have, or that email that you sent them?
I have-
Can you send it to us?
He had sent us this one.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
send it,
I don't think
if you don't have
everything's
it,
on
I'll
there,
send it
though.
over to you.
Okay.
I don't
That's
think
just
everything's
as-
on there, though.
Yeah.
I think they'll have an actual budget that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we've got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
budget thing
yeah.
that we've sent to Kristen.
So it's out here in the system?
Yeah, it's on the system.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, there are obviously changes that I've talked about here today, but conceptually, those numbers start there.
I'll get you a copy out of here.
Anything else I could answer?
No, we'll probably delve into it more at budget time, but
Yeah.
appreciate
Well,
it.
please kind of see, I mean, my concern is, you know, we're losing ground in the courtroom, you know, with wallpaper starting to fall off, with paint peeling. The last thing, and it's not on the list because I was just made aware of it yesterday, was apparently there was a leak in the attic into the ladies' restroom on the third floor.
No, it was the AC unit in the fourth floor.
All right.
They started cleaning it up. One of the bailiffs came in and ran them off because they were making too much noise with the shop vac. They then put up a out of work sign because there was still water on the floor, and they left it.
Okay.
And then last night, Donnie sent me an email that water came into his tile, dropped tile on his ceiling, which we repaired this morning. Granted, it wasn't, we still had a bucket over the top of Donnie's computer to catch the water that was still dripping. But, guys, we're gonna have to do something with the HVAC.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I've talked about this for 5 years now, 6 years, about the HVAC.
Well, we had that happen to Jeff's office too, so,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, I know he's got paint peeling, but that's, that special faux paint that's in his courtroom. So once we start, we're gonna have to paint the whole courtroom. Track lighting is obsolete, can't get bulbs for it no more. You know, where do we go? What do we do?
Just gotta do like you do when you're eating elephant, one bite at a time. So we'll have to pick which ones and put them at the top of the list, and that may be something we sit down with you and say which one you want done first. The HVAC stuff, we're gonna figure something out on that. You all can't do most of that, or maybe
No, I
any
can't.
of it.
No, that'll be-
So.
That's big bucks.
I mean, we need to get some of that addressed because I think that the condensation and stuff's causing a lot of the problems.
Yeah,
in some of
the
that.
condensate drain lines are just not even close.
So
So,
that may be one of the things we try to look at. That'd be a big ticket item, and then, the painting and stuff can kinda come in after we get that done, but.
I guess the final thing I would say, kind of as always, I currently have a 30-day capital murder trial set. in 2022. We've always treated that entirely separately, but if that actually goes, that's a fair amount of money. We just completed a murder trial for Monroe County. We got the bill off to them for the, essentially what we figured about $12,000 of expenses that were unique to that trial. We sent that bill out. I think I signed that letter this morning. We got the final tally on that. The trial next year is for Wayne County, and we've discussed that before.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory, Judge. Has the statute changed to where we send the bill to somewhere in state government and they collect from the other county, or do we still collect from the
No.
other county?
No, we send the bill to the counties
Okay.
of origin, and they theoretically pay it.
Theoretically pay it?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to
Yeah.
the prosecutor in Monroe County, and she had it in her budget, and it was
Oh.
give or take about the number that they were expecting. So I would expect we would recover that money. The other time, I think that amount of money, an estimated cost for a capital trial, is a substantial portion of the Wayne County budget.
And we sent them a letter, oh gosh, 2 years ago?
Oh, 3 probably.
Yeah, to let them know, hopefully,
I never heard that.
hopefully they've been putting some money back, but,
What you're talking about is, we did get a statute through, Rudy and I worked on that.
Did that pass?
I think it got through, it doesn't have any funding, okay? But looking for this problem that you have where little counties have to have this expense that's far more than they could accomplish. And large, everyone likes to come here because I think 2 reasons, one of which we're close, and second of which I think we do a pretty good job at managing these trials. And so, the state attorney general's office, they'll say, let's go to Cole County. And the public defender's office will say, the capital unit, let's go to Cole County. And, we looked at, Judge Joyce and I spent some time on this a couple of years ago. Could we get out of this? And it does not appear that there's a way to do that.
We'll probably have one coming from Osage County too, before you know it.
Well, and Osage County has helped us before. I tried 1 or 2 cases out of Osage County with an Osage County jury. So, I mean, we work
Yeah.
pretty good
We're
with
just a
that
little
particular-
poor county, so
Yeah, I mean,
not
it's,
so much. And their budgets.
yeah. I mean, when you're talking about, I mean, for us, our jury budget is $65,000. And to say one trial is gonna cost us $100,000, it's just overwhelming.
maybe we need to send another letter to Wayne County.
They don't have any money.
Well, I know, but I mean,
Most of
yeah, I
the,
think,
Can we put a lien on their county?
well, that's what Harry's predecessor was saying, we just go take their courthouse. I said, we don't need another
a
courthouse.
lot of the property in the county is national forest, so they're not getting, the pills aren't gonna cover what.
We can get hunting
we
rights.
would. What,
You
kid?
lost me
Maybe it's
already.
elk country. Have an elk lottery.
Okay,
Bears.
we're straying
lost
off
Anyhow, so
the,
I encourage you to
Yeah.
stop by, and I'd be glad to show you any of these things that we've talked about, so you can kind of see and answer any questions that you have here. And we'll continue those discussions, before we submit the budget in accordance with the statute. So.
we will do that.
all right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, go back to the regular agenda, appointment by commission, reappointment of Sonny Sanders to the Mid-Missouri Regional Planning Commission.
I'll offer a motion to reappoint Sonny Sanders to the Mid-Missouri Regional Planning Commission Board of Directors.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any commission comments? Bids and contracts? Unfinished business? New business, accounts payable review?
We don't have any this week, so.
Okay. Second and final reading of budget adjustment number 16.
This is for $87,732. This is the DSSS grant for the Sheriff's Department, and I do need action today.
All right, you got any questions? All right, make a motion, we sign the court order, budget adjustment number 16 for $87,732 for the ABCD. Where's it at?
DSSF grant,
That one, I can't find it on here.
It's on the second page.
Deputy
Okay.
Sheriff Supplemental Salary Fund.
Okay.
The DSSFF.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second and final reading of budget adjustment number 17.
This is for $55,086.77. This is for the asphalt overlay chip and seal from the city of Jeff. It's just putting the money back in the sales tax budget, so I do need action today.
Make a motion, we sign the court order for budget adjustment number 17, $55,086.77 for the asphalt overlay and chip seal costs from Jefferson City.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Signing of the annual peopleware agreement.
This is, Judy, this is the annual recorder of deeds agreement. We've used this vendor before. I don't know if you have any questions for Judy on that. She's here.
We were able to keep the price down, and actually they did give us a few $100s off this year because we had some glitches that our office actually worked through for them. So it's the same cost as it has been.
And it was budgeted, all these were budgeted. This one in particular was budgeted in IS's budget under the maintenance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to see it?
No, that's fine.
Good. I'll make a motion, we sign the annual peopleware agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Signing of the live scan maintenance and support agreement.
This is an agreement we sign every year for live scans, our fingerprint machines. It also encompasses mug shots and some other things. About $2,600 is what we're gonna pay, and it's in our budget.
Good.
Yep.
Motion to sign the life scan maintenance and support agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Let's see. 2021 August.
Wastewater treatment.
Yeah, wastewater, signing a wastewater treatment system ordinance and updates to ordinance.
Got it. This is what Joe was talking about last week.
Oh, yes, Joe.
Yeah, it was basically proved that we just didn't have the correction made in the
Yeah,
thing.
the
We would've had to
second
do a
one.
second one
Mhm.
if we didn't, so.
Yes.
Do we need to read the whole thing?
No, you don't need to read it.
No.
Just make a motion to sign it.
Motion to adopt the ordinance, adopting the and amend Cole County Environmental Protection and Safety Code wastewater treatment systems ordinance to be administered by the Cole County Health Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of purchase of stainless steel single axle dump truck bed.
We would like to buy a new bed for truck number 263. This bed is from Henderson Products, and it's under Sourcewell contract. The price is $21,607. The main frame of the current bed's the rest is beyond repair. It's unsafe to drive. We have it out of service right now, but we need it for winter operations. The truck has 38,000, a little over 38,000 miles, and is otherwise good condition, so we just need to buy a new bed for it. It's stainless steel. We're going to all stainless steel on our beds from here on out, just for the longevity of them. That's the first thing that we have trouble with on our dump trucks.
That was an older bed you had put on the newer truck, though.
We haven't done that yet, as far as putting an old bed, an old stainless on a newer truck. This is a new bed for this truck. We will get to that.
So you only have 38,000 miles on that truck, and that's how long the bed lasted on it?
Well, single axle trucks don't get a lot of use. They're primarily for winter operations and then sporadic through the summer. And so it's, what year is that truck?
I'd say it's probably 09.
Yeah. So but it's another, I mean, it's in good condition. It just, the
Clean it up,
beds
that's an
are,
antique.
the beds just don't last. Unless there's, the stainless steel, we're having good luck with them,
You don't put very many miles on them at all, do you?
not on the singles.
Yeah, I
Some
know
of
we
them
were
do,
doing the
depending on-
stainless steel, and they make a ton of difference, so. I didn't realize the truck was that old. I didn't think it was that old with that few miles on it.
Yeah,
so.
that's,
Yeah, they only usually like he said, just get used in the wintertime, more or less. I mean, we can use them as transport during the summer, but they don't haul near as much material, so we don't utilize them as often as we do the tandem axle trucks.
So would it make sense to get rid of it?
Well, that's a little bit for a later discussion today, but yes, we would like to phase out some of our single axle trucks.
I mean, would
And
now be a
start buying
good time to
tandem.
start instead of dropping 21,000 on a bed for it, and
We don't have the budget to support buying a new dump truck probably next year. We'll probably have to wait a couple of years, and we do need the truck for winter as it stands now. And backing up a little bit, we do need to phase out some single axle dump trucks. This isn't one of them. We have others that we would do before this one. We would keep this one for a while. We
okay.
have others
So if you're
that
gonna
have-
phase one out, it'd be a different one.
Yes, sorry. We
That-
would phase out the ones that are.
Higher mileage.
Higher,
Higher
yeah.
mileage, the older. This is
Yeah.
a newer model.
Okay.
So yes, you are correct. We want to do that. The other ones that have the old, just the straight steel bed, we will phase those out and not replace those beds.
We will not be able to phase all of them out due to the fact that these single axles, most of them run in neighborhoods, and a tandem axle's just not able to get around in cul-de-sacs and, shorter streets near as well as a single axle or a 550.
We do use some single during the summer. We have 3 or so that don't get a lot of use. So those we would like to phase out over time and replace with a tandem, which tandems get a lot of use during the summer and actually all time of the year.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's bid or whatever proposal to sign.
It's cooperative, right?
Cooperative, yes.
Motion to purchase from Henderson Products, Inc., single axle dump truck, $21,607.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Approval of purchase of Caterpillar 140 motor grader.
We need to buy a new motor grader next year. We would like to surplus a 2005 model that has over 10,000 hours on it. The cost of this is $282,500. We were told by our local rep for Fabic that the lead time on getting these is at least 9 months, and it could be more. We would like to sign an agreement to purchase this now, rather than wait till the first of the year when the budget's approved. And that way it can be ordered, and when we take delivery of it, hopefully by, mid-year next year, we would definitely have the money there to buy it. So talked to Kristen in the auditor's office about doing that, and she suggested that she would just sign it and put a little note on there saying the county will not expend funds until 2022. So she was okay with signing this.
And they'll still honor this bid for that long, because I know we ran into all kinds of issues with Greg's trailer,
Yes.
where,
There's an acceptance here of that, and you talked to Steve Horsey with Fabic,
okay,
and he said.
They're
that-
gonna, if we lock it in now, they will honor that.
Okay.
that bid price.
yeah, because I will guarantee 9 months from now, it'll be more.
So this is a good thing. The problem with a lot of the equipment we're buying, it takes so long to get. Those dump trucks that you also approved the purchase of back in January, we still haven't got them yet. So we're getting to that where we may have to start getting things ordering them ahead of time the year before, but we'll have to have things set up on our budget too.
But we have them by this winter?
Yes. The
Oh,
dump, the
trucks,
tandem
yes.
dump trucks, yes, we will have
Huh.
them by
The
the
ones at Shepherd's right now and the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all good.
Okay.
So this would just be approval to order the Caterpillar 140 motor grader for $282,500. It will come out of next year's budget. And it's on state contract, MoDOT contract. Didn't include the number on that, but it's on the MoDOT contract.
I don't know how we're buying something on next year's budget. I think we just need to approve it. If it gets, I mean, by some weird chance it got here early, we'd do a budget adjustment or something. And
The intent's for us to not have to pay for it until after January.
I wouldn't think we were gonna, don't think we'd get it.
I don't think so either, but what I'm saying is that spending money on next year's budget without it being budgeted has always been something.
I talked
think
to
we did
Kristen
that on
about that
ambulances.
particular thing,
I think we did that
and
on
initially, the
ambulances,
idea
but-
was that we would just encumber money out of our contingency this year and just.
Okay,
subtract
so we're
that from
gonna
our
encumber it
budget.
out of contingency.
She
and then-
suggested that we could do that, but then on second thought, she said we didn't need to. She was okay not doing that. So-
I think it was just because of the 9-month lag and when we get billed for it. That's why she was okay with it.
I'm fine with it.
So it's okay as long as it says in there we're not gonna be billed for it until 22.
She's gonna put a note on the bottom of that contract, is what I understand, when she signs it.
And then they're gonna initial it too. I thought you said it was already in the contract.
It's not, it's just a.
Her
It's not
signature
really
line.
a contract necessarily, it's just a.
Letter of intent.
Letter of
Yeah,
intent to
letter
buy.
of intent.
Contract would be the MoDOT contract, and we'll sign that when that comes in, and we'll get all that approved. I think we're indifferent on it as far as how we want to do it. We need to order it, and whether it's a matter of encumbering the funds now out of our contingency, if that's the way to go, so be it. If the auditor's okay with the other way. that's-
Sounds like this way's less work. Just saying, we don't have to encumber the contingency, so if they're fine with that, then I'm fine. So,
Very good.
do it the easier way, obviously.
Yeah.
We've had issues with doing that before, so, okay.
So we have a letter of intent to sign?
Yep.
Okay,
So we probably ought to have a motion.
yeah. I think so.
I think that's fine, letter of intent or
Proposal.
accepting the proposal, or I'm not sure.
I don't think there's any way we're gonna get it early either.
No, I don't.
But if they say it's ready, we got one that somebody backed out on or something,
Yeah.
ready to jump somehow or some way.
I'll offer a motion to sign a letter of intent for the purchase of a Caterpillar 140 motor grader at a cost of $282,500. The vendor is Fabic Cat.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion on purchase of a 10-ton gantry crane.
So this is tied a little bit to that bed you all just agreed to buy from Henderson. We, and I'll have to acknowledge Tyler Clark and the rest of the shop mechanics. They do a fantastic job. We wouldn't be where we are today without what they do for our department and other departments too when needed. We are now replacing our beds in-house, or we can replace them in-house. In the past, we shipped them out to one of the different companies, Henderson and Nampi. Problem with that is that there's some downtime. You know, it's upwards of a couple months at times just to get it done. We just recently replaced a bed on a truck, finished it up maybe a month ago or less. And so they can physically do this, and they do a good job, and we can get it done when we want it. The issue is safety and how we do it. To lift it up, to get it up there to where we can actually attach it to the frame, we use a trackhoe and a forklift. And what other means do you use? I mean, that's basically it, and it has to sit up there, hold it, and guys have to be underneath there attaching it. Very unsafe. Now, I'm not saying that they're unsafe in doing it. You know, I don't think they'd get under and do it if they weren't confident that they'd be okay, but there's always a chance that one of those hydraulic hoses could break or whatever. So it's not really where we want to be, and I think we're in the position that we're not going to do that again. You know, so we're hoping that this goes through. But what we would like to present to you all is an opportunity to buy a 10-ton gantry crane. This unit would sit outside on a concrete pad that we would pour. Our own crew would pour it. This unit could be used if we add on to the building or build a new building in the future, it can be moved and used inside. The problem with moving one inside now is the ceiling's not high enough to lift the bed up all the way to get it to where we can attach it, so we have to do it outside right now. And again, the safety issue is the primary concern. We presented this to our Road and Bridge Advisory Board, kind of in connection with the idea of looking at some master planning for our facility, whether we want to move forward with adding on to the building or look at a brand new building on our site just north where we've been filling the size of the old gas station. So with this being kind of a facility improvement, we would like to propose taking the funds to pay for this out of the 15% portion of the sales tax for county facility improvements. Now, the total cost of this is $38,217. That includes $4,000 in shipping. It's a sole source provider, so Jessica would have to run that through that process. Tyler, do you want to expand a little bit on the crane and why that's certain one that we need?
Yeah, we got, this one will go from about 16 feet to about 22 feet tall. And we had an old gantry crane before, but it was only a 3-ton, and it's not safe enough to use on our beds. So we got rid of it, and now we gotta go with a bigger one because these beds are so heavy now, and these spreaders, everything's getting bigger.
So 10 ton's gonna be able to handle future use?
Yes.
Yeah, even if some of the stuff starts getting bigger, we can use it on other things too?
Yes.
Okay, so,
And we will use this crane for other things like rebuilding our spreaders if we have to put a new chain in them or a new auger. It allows us to lift.
I just wanna make sure you're getting one big enough now to handle that. We don't have to come back, in 5, 10 years even and be wanting to say, oh, well, we need a bigger one. So, I mean, go big or go home at this point, I think. And that price wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
And we would pour the concrete out of our own, we would use our own crews and take the money out of our own budget for highway maintenance facility improvements. It's just a matter of purchasing the crane, being a fairly large expense, and we don't have any money in our budget anymore for equipment. We've spent everything, bought everything we planned to buy, so.
Well, I think our mechanics have saved us
Yeah,
in other words, a buttload of money on some of the stuff that y'all take on. I mean, y'all are, doing a great job with it. We used to hire these all out, didn't we? And so right now, lead time to get it hired out was even mentioned in here, so.
Yeah,
I think that's something to look at using ARPA money for too, because if we can't get people to do it because of the COVID, then, it might be a stretch, but I think we can get creative with it. Cause you're wanting to take it out of the 15% capital improvements, and, that's the only thing I got qualms about is where it comes from.
Okay. We, if you do decide to move forward with it, again, we bought that one bed. Now it'll take a little bit to get it, but we would like to have this in place to be able to put this bed on before November 15th or so would be kind of the drop dead date for getting that done. So we do need to decide on it fairly soon. I didn't propose this as making a decision today unless you want to. We just want to talk about it, get it out in front of you, let you know kind of where we're going, where we want to be on this. Now, again, it would be something that we could bring into a new facility, whether it's an add-on or a brand new facility, and use it inside. At the time that we do that, we may say, oh, it's better just to get a new one that's permanent inside, but maybe not. We can use it inside, so that is an added benefit.
what's the
there.
time frame on getting this after you order it?
The way they were thinking, maybe about a month and a half. I talked to them, they're already pre-built. It's gonna do everything around it up and ship it.
Ship it, we essentially.
I would order, the way you're doing it now, I think is dangerous, so
It's,
I think, yeah, it's worked, but, yeah, I don't want anybody get killed or hurt or maimed or,
I don't think.
I got a few people I could stick under there, but,
I don't think we were fully aware that that's how they were doing it. Now, Tyler, he was doing it, again, safely doing it, but in the big picture, not where we want to be. So this will definitely alleviate any safety concerns whatsoever going forward. Not only with that, but then other things we do as well, where we need to lift something up.
Yeah,
It's got multiple,
From pulling the trackle off the job to do it.
yes.
yeah.
What does it take to do the sole source right now? Is that a,
Just approval to run the ad right now.
okay. I would make a motion to approve the running of the sole source ad for this 10-ton gantry crane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public hearing and court order.
See how it looks.
Sorry I had to miss this meeting, but BOE, Dawn.
Okay, we'll try to go
Messed
through
me
this
up.
fairly quick. The first items on here are pertaining to the upgrade we did on Waterford Mount Hope Road and are pretty straightforward. The last one is a no parking item out near Pioneer Trail School. So we did have our meeting with the Cole County Traffic and Safety Advisory Board back on July 22nd, and these are the items that they recommended that we proceed taking to a public hearing and taking to the County Commission for approval. So the first is Waterford Road, Mount Hope, and its speed limit, stop, and yield signs on this road. So we recently upgraded Waterford, Mount Hope to asphalt, kind of where the circles are. Those are kind of the project limits. Waterford Road was paved down to this spot here, and my cursor's not working, but the top part there. The year was early 2000s, and that part of that road is signed at 40 miles per hour. And then we paved a portion of Mount Hope, basically just past the Waterford Road intersection. Some pictures of the road as it is a couple months ago or so. You see some debris or some sand or something on the road. That's the corrective asphalt materials, the preventative seal that's on the road. So that does wear off over time. Fairly straight, pretty much. Now, when you come to Mount Hope these are on Mount Hope Road, and that's coming towards the end. The intersection's on the right with Waterford. This is looking back, and you can't see the intersection of Waterford, but this is the gravel portion right here, looking back to the road. Again, just over the hill, the intersection with Waterford's on the left. Yeah, this is Waterford Road. This is looking from the northernmost project limit back to the south. You can see the tree line right there. That's the North Morrow Creek. This is looking to the north, looking the opposite way, and you can see the bridge right there. Really straight stretch of road. This is looking up towards Mount Hope Road. When we did the speed count, the 85th percentile is generally the gauge that we go off of. 85% of the cars are traveling at this speed. The speed was 45 and 46 on Mount Hope for the westbound and eastbound, and then on Waterford it was 49 and 53 miles per hour. And again, I said 40 miles per hour is the northern section, and if you look at the locations, the rest of Waterford Road it's not curvy, but it's got a lot of curves. This is by far the most straightest stretch of the road. And so these speeds are maybe a little higher than what you'd expect as common for the whole road. So we presented that. The board recommended the speed limit for the newly paved portion of Waterford Road and Mount Hope Road be set at 40 miles per hour, and that would be to be consistent with the rest of Waterford. And again, the locations were taken in areas that might see a little higher speed. As a general rule of thumb, we don't like to change speed limits on a roadway from one to another. It just needs to be consistent. So that is the main reason for the 40 miles per hour. So we need a motion to either accept, modify, or deny the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board recommendation. And we have a court order to sign as well. We could do those all at the end if you'd prefer.
Yeah, we'll
So
do
just
that.
go through the whole
Yeah.
thing. This is the stop sign. This is on Waterford Road out at Mount Hope Road. I showed you some of the pictures earlier, but here's the location. Waterford intersects Mount Hope at pretty much a T intersection. This is standing in the intersection looking at Waterford Road to the north. This is standing and looking on Mount Hope to the west. And you can tell there's a hill right there, a little bit of a sight distance, less sight distance right there, and then looking down to the east on Mount Hope. So the warrants for stop signs are pretty simple. The main warrant is if you have an intersection of a less important road with a main road where application of normal right-of-way, that means you just look both ways before you pull out. That would be hazardous to do that. So it falls in line with that. The less important road is going to be Waterford. And we would recommend that, the board recommended that the county commission approve the installation of the stop sign on Waterford Road at the intersection of Mount Hope. Now, I will tell you, if you look at this picture right here, the stop sign's already there. We have a policy that if it's a situation where we really need to put this up due to safety concerns, we can do that and it's good for 90 days until it's approved by the county commission. So it is in place. We just need it to be officially approved. So we'll move on to the next one. And these are yield signs on Waterford Road at the bridge over the North Morrow Creek. And a couple pictures of that. This is just the aerial showing the creek. This is looking to the north, and again, these signs are in place as well due to the same reason I said on the stop sign. And it's a yield to oncoming traffic is the plate below the yield sign. And this is looking to the south, same sign. And so these are commonplace when we have one-lane bridges on a paved road, and so the board recommended that the county commission approve these signs as well. And then the last one, maybe a little more discussion on this, no parking request on Paradigm Drive. And this is at the intersection of Pioneer Trail Drive, which is right near Pioneer Trail School. And so we had a request from a resident who lives on the corner of that intersection with safety concerns with afternoon school pickup. And I can explain a little more in looking at the picture. The arrows, people will park in that area pretty much all the way down to the north property line. On both sides, they'll face up the road towards Pioneer Trail. They do this to kind of bypass getting in the car line for the school. The car line, this school, it probably still is the case it was back when we did some things out there. It's the highest number of car pickups in the district. And so they've changed a lot of things to try to get traffic flow through there, but it still will cause traffic to back out onto Wilderness Court and almost out to Pioneer Trail Drive. People will park on Paradigm to try to avoid the car line. The kids, they're supposedly walkers. They'll walk and cross the road here and go down to their car. Well, with cars lined up on that road, there's no sidewalk on the north to take kids to where they need to go. Cars are still pulling in and out of there, and it creates a safety issue with sight distance and kids kind of jockeying between cars and going to their car when they go to school. So this was presented to us. Some pictures real quick. This is on Pioneer Trail looking to the east. You can see the school on the right. This is looking to the west, school on the left there. You can see a little crosswalk sign. That's right at the intersection. That's where the kids are crossing. This is looking down Paradigm, kind of straight shot looking down. This is on the left side and then on the right. And so you can see on the right there's no place for the kids to go when they cross there. A little bit of a concern when we put the crosswalk in, but it was still something we needed to do. We didn't have one at the time when Paradigm Drive, when that was built and extended on up to Rainbow a few years back. We needed to address that. Long term, it would be probably good to have some more sidewalks out in this area, and that's something we'll address in the next sales tax. This is looking up Paradigm Drive to the intersection of Pioneer Trail, and it is pretty steep, and you can see where there could be a concern with cars lining both sides, kids crossing back and forth, and cars trying to turn in and out of that intersection during a busy time when school lets out. So we talked to the resident, got some more detail on that, and it is a definite safety concern. There's a list of several things we've done and the commission's approved as far as signing and different types of items out at the school since it was first built. It's a little surprising that there's been that many, but it's an ongoing thing that we work with the school district to be a partner with them and address any concerns that they have. So the board recommended no parking on Paradigm Drive for approximately 135 feet from the radius point at the Pioneer Trail Drive intersection. And this would be on school days from 7 to 8:30 a.m. and 2:30 to 4 p.m. And this is consistent with no parking on Pioneer Trail Drive that we already have in place. And so the red is the area that we would add no parking, where we already have the school days, morning and afternoon, no parking is along this stretch, because they were parking there when school was let out and kids would run across the road. So we addressed that back, it's been several years ago, and now this is a new concern. So we would, like I said, the board recommended approval of that no parking, and we would just need the county commission to approve and sign the court orders for that.
And both the tenants on either side of that have agreed, are
Yes.
okay with those, no parking there too.
Yes,
I don't know if you said that.
I didn't, but yes, you're right.
That's because they were using that assisted living parking lot too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had all kinds of items we've addressed out there, done a good job of it, but. it
Yeah,
seems
we,
like-
we've discussed.
The
Pioneer.
schools are gonna take
Yeah.
a different approach with it too, on
Yeah.
trying to make sure that the walkers are actually walkers. So the schools, they know there's an issue and they're also working.
I would bet you there's still gonna be a lot of parents that are gonna keep doing what they're doing because they're gonna think, well, I'm in my car, so even though it says no parking, but
Well,
it's
the
a good,
first week of school, they'll have a deputy there saying, leave with the damn car.
good, okay.
So the way we found when we do some of these, they'll just find another place to do
Yeah.
it. So we may come back to you in another year with another one, but we're trying to address it the best we can. And it's, like I said, it's an ongoing thing with the school. We're a partner to them, and we want to work with them to address any concerns they got.
Yeah.
So we have several court orders that need to be approved and signed. There's actually 6, so.
Eric, is there a solution for the school to do something with respect to a bigger loop or in there?
Being a school parent at Immaculate Conception School, we have the same issue, and people will actually block traffic, actually park in the lane at IC school. I think every school has these issues, and it's for a short window,
Right.
usually 10 to 15 minutes. And a solution out here, would have been, back in the day, probably building more area for the cars to stack up, but I don't think they anticipated so many drivers,
Or this many kids.
or that many
They
kids,
take
yeah.
that many kids.
The school was full within a year or two at capacity of it being built, so.
The school also did think that they could solve a lot of this by making sure that those walkers are walking down Paradigm Drive and not walking just to a car. They thought they could address part of this issue themselves.
So with them doing that and then us doing this, it'll solve the problem there. And again, it's, parents will try to find a way around it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but we're doing our due diligence to do what we can.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I got 6.
I saw 4 of them. What did you?
Well, there's 2 yield signs, each one separate. There's 2 speed limits, one for Mount Hope and Waterford, so that's the reason why there's 4 items, but.
Okay.
So if you want to read it, under, that's where the description is on it, so.
And it's Jeff's turn.
Just turned.
Make me the bad guy. All righty, we'll start out with the court order I'll make a motion on Mount Hope Road, make the speed limit 40 miles per hour from 500 feet west of Waterford Road to Route U.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to make the speed limit on Waterford Road 40 miles per hour.
Is there a area or a
It's the whole
stop
road,
and start?
right?
Waterford?
Just completely makes it
Okay.
so it's consistent throughout.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion, we put stop control at Waterford Road, at Mount Hope Road. That'd be it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, we put yield control at Waterford Road northbound at the bridge over the North Morrill Creek.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, we put yield control at Waterford Road southbound at the bridge over the North Morrill Creek.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, no parking Paradigm Drive, both sides of the road for 135 feet from the radius points at the intersection of Pioneer Trail Drive on school days from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and from 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tell the traffic advisory board, thanks for
Yeah.
going through all that. I'm sure that had to be some interesting conversations.
You have it's a good board. It really is a good board.
Oh, wow. I bet you're on it, aren't you?
I am. No, it really is.
Nice dismount from that high horse, big guy. It's gotta be a great committee.
It is a good committee. I mean, we
Wait,
have,
you weren't at the
we have
last meeting, though, was he, when
engineers,
y'all
we
got all the
have,
work done?
we have
No, he
highway
wasn't.
patrol, we have, I mean, it's,
They got all that work done when you weren't there.
I
You were
know.
at BOE instead.
But it's Don's fault,
And he skipped BOE last week.
just on Friday. Okay.
It was one thing, but still,
Solacom update.
you're not gonna live it down.
So I was just gonna give you an update. Last year, or this year, whenever, what year it was, we gave some CARES money for the 911 dispatch for 911 mapping. It was adding to the current software they have for Solacom. They went to them and they said, this is how much money it would cost. So we paid this money out of CARES. The problem is after they started implementation, they realized that they actually can't do that function that they wanted to. So the PD is moving away from Solacom. So they're having a conversation with them today to get that money back. When that money comes back, I think it's gotta go back to the state. I don't know, that's our feds, yeah, whatever, that's y'all's deal. They are trying to implement another program called Intrado. I'll be happy to come in next, because I'll have more information on the next commission meeting on Wednesday, if you'll allow me to do so, and then I'll let you know what they're planning on and how much it's gonna be. And just to reiterate, the 911 mapping, currently, if there's a bad wreck on 54, and they get 15 911 calls, they have to answer the 911 calls as they come in. So it's, what's your emergency? There's a wreck. Yeah, we know, and hang up. Well, what this will do is it will throw these 911 calls up on a map. So if a bad accident happens on 54, then they'll see all these 911 calls are coming in a cluster, and then there's one in Eugene. And then so they can just go directly to that one and answer it. And it's, my dad's got COVID and he's having trouble breathing. And then we're allowed to respond not only more efficiently there, but also more accurately with the appropriate gear on to protect our first responders. So it was approved last time. I think we can use the same the ART money or whatever that's called. I think we can utilize that to do this again, but we'll just have to wait till it gets until I bring it to you and let you know exactly how much money it's going to be. So you don't need to do anything. I was just keeping you updated on it. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Okay, we're gonna flip-flop and put the NID last, and so we will go 210 Adams lower level upgrades discussion.
I just wanted to make my fellow commissioners aware and others of last Friday, I met with Justin Carver, who heads the public defender office here and is located on the second floor of the Carnegie Building. And as you know, he's adding staff, received extra appropriations or additional appropriations from the General Assembly. And he wants, and I understand his want, to keep his staff in one location. So we looked for space, and the best space that we can find is in the lower level of the Carnegie Building, which will require Greg to vacate his area there. We have, I also met with Mary Fox of the State Public Defender's Office. She was there last week when we discussed this item. So in order to make that lower level qualify good enough for the public defenders, we're going to have to work on a number of things there. We're going to have to work on ceilings which is, they're drop ceilings? Drop ceilings. Walls, need some painting and some sprucing up. Lighting in those ceilings and maybe other places there too. Floor in a couple places
Floor throughout down there.
there's some old non-operating wall units that, were they cooling and heating or cooling and heating, and they're not operational and they're not used and they need to be removed. Whoops.
Oh,
Over here.
No. My foot hit the down button.
is that,
I guess I could go with the,
is that one, is that, let's give
I'm gonna
that
go
chair
see,
to
I'm gonna go
Judge
see,
Limbaugh.
I'm gonna go see Limbaugh and see
Yeah.
if we can make a trade. Let's see what else. The wall units. There was something else.
He's keeping us.
Oh, I know.
Judge.
Perhaps, we'll see what they want as a floor plan. There are some non-load bearing walls there that maybe it'll be time to shift those or get rid of them or whatever, but it may not be locked into the same exact floor plan we have today. So it's really discussion. We're going to proceed with this approach. They don't have those people hired yet. They will be hired. They're actually waiting for recent graduates who, law school graduates who are probably taking the bar next month. Is that a September thing?
No, that's when you get your results.
Okay.
They take it in July.
They took the,
They
okay.
took it because we had a lot of people who
So
worked over there to help.
more discussion right now or questions if there are any.
Where we at on the Adams Street, across the street to where, because we gotta get you a place to go.
Yeah, we got.
Patrick's,
We do have surplus property too that we,
Surplus is over there for IT as well as furniture. Brandon does a good job with furniture stuff, but Brian's been keeping extra IT stuff. We got surplus cleaning supplies and stuff for the buildings in case somebody runs out, which has been happening. My office is there. So Carnegie's, we're kind of know what we need to do there. We're looking over at, with some questions of load-bearing walls when we start tearing the building down. Harry and myself met with Pat, and then you all saw the emails back and forth. I'm hoping Carrie will get to me tomorrow or Thursday so we can sit down and get this lined out, because if he waits any longer, we'll tell Pat we get moved to somebody else. Keep going.
If we were to demo that building, some of the engineers tell us that that the floor of the building is about 3 feet lower than the alley or the way that runs east-west there. And if we take that building down, we're going to have to build probably some 3-foot wall to keep the street from coming crashing into what's left. If you don't take the building down, and maybe instead of taking it down, put a room for, or space for a garage door or two that lets Greg get in there with his trailer in and out, we could wait till a later date to demolish and to do that wall or whatever needs to be done to pick up that parking. So those are kind of in flux right now. And do we get to take our building down if we want to? Do we go to the city and ask for a demo permit? I'm not familiar with.
Sovereign immunity, we don't have to.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
As long as we can kind of close off the back part and make it habitable for Greg and,
And surplus.
yeah, that might not be bad.
We could give Greg an entrance door and an exit door, which would make it pretty convenient for him to get that trailer in and out of there and protect it from
Yeah.
folks.
It'd be nice to have some more parking over there.
It would, and I don't know,
Put knee walls up or something over there to hold that. So, I mean, I'm open to looking at all the suggestions on it. But should be able to do some kind of support on that existing wall. That's what's holding up the driveway right now.
Well, the wall is holding it up because it's got trusses up above it and weight, and it keeps it spread out. When those go away,
Then you, I don't know, is it a knee wall or what's a little wall that they put on them to keep them?
oh, you're talking about a little,
Retaining walls and stuff from being pushed over and do themselves. That's why I don't do concrete, and I don't want to memorize those names either. So, anyway, there's a lot of different ways to do it, so just to have them draw it up and let's take a look at it.
okay,
Yeah.
that's where we are at this point.
Okay. Okay, then we will go to discussion of NID process for the county.
What's he gonna do with them, because we're not gonna have this done overnight, if he gets them hired in the next 2 months.
He said. Justin said he could double bunk for a short period of time. So
He's
he
one of the
would,
reasons he's wanting to have them there is because they're new people, so that way they can.
Yeah.
right, he
hire
could,
and stuff, but still.
he, it's not optimum, but he could squeeze them in temporarily on floor
Do
2.
you see their conference room, which is also known as a lobby?
Yes.
So, I don't know if we can do something temporarily there to maybe give them a shared office or something where there is some privacy. Because this is gonna take a while, just getting it drawn up and making a decision is gonna take 2 months, and then advertise it and bid it another 2 months, and then actual construction another 2 or 3 months, so
I'm hoping not to take that long, but yeah.
I'll take the over on it if you want that.
You can drag it out that long.
I'm not gonna try to drag it out. If they can make some decisions right now and tell us what we can do, what walls can stay and what can't, I can tell you this afternoon which way I think we need to go. So, if he's got something temporary, we can work with Justin on that. I don't know,
Yeah.
aside from just putting partitions up.
Okay. Anything else?
I'll let it go now.
Okay. Discussion of NID process for the county. Eric had added this because I guess we have an area that is looking at perhaps doing an NID to improve their roads, to bring them up to county.
So we've been working with the residents on Marina Road. This is down far eastern part of the county there at the Osage River, about the possibility of them upgrading their road to our standards to where we would take it into our system. They're looking at the NID process. That process is extremely involved. We went through that, Sam and Jeff, you remember 5 years ago or so with our Parkview Meadow subdivision and then Randall Drive. It is very involved. There's a long process to go through to do it. We've been working with the residents, trying to come up with an estimate. What I sent to you in the email that Melody attached to the agenda this morning is a kind of a draft, I don't know if I call it policy, kind of a timeline / policy of items to think about as these things go through. And that was just for my own understanding of it back when we did it last time. We kind of kicked around a little bit about forming a policy, didn't do it, but at least talked about it here and there. The problem we have is, so these folks are interested in doing it, to draft up the documents, what is it?
Petition.
Basically, just the documents or petition, I guess is what it is, for them to vote on. Takes an attorney, Tony Stegman with Warren Bell up in Kansas City is our attorney that we've used in the past for NIDs. And she sent an email last week asking what is the commission on board with this, because she'd have to, and, you know, there'd be fees, her expenses to draft that. And I guess that's kind of the gray area when we do these. The commission's going out on a limb if they pay to, because the commission pays for this, not the folks wanting to do it. going out on a limb in the event that it votes down. That's the concern. So an idea would be, as part of this timeline or policy, if we were to have a policy, would be that the residents somehow have to pay for the upfront cost or pay a fee to the county to begin the process. If it's approved, it's passed, then those fees just all get tacked on to the NID, and, you know, it's all taken care of in that process. The concern is if they don't vote it.
Have they filed a request?
I don't think they've filed any formal request, and that's, again, you know what, I don't know the process, if they have to file something. It almost should be that they should come to the county and, you know, petition the county to even think about it, I guess.
How
I know
many-
we had Randall Drive here because we had people opposed to it, and,
How many parcels are involved, do you know?
Oh, this kind of caught me a little quick off guard this morning. I want to say about 27 properties. Now, some are the same owner on two. So I'd say 25 owners, 26, 24 owners or so, with 27-ish parcels.
Does it take a simple majority to make this happen?
It's 2/3.
2/3.
And it's not always 2/3 of the owners. It can be set up by road frontage, it could be set up by how many lots you own. For example, if there's an owner that has 2 lots, they have 2 votes. There's one owner on, actually, there might be 2 owners on the west side, and it's farmland. And by statute, farmland cannot be included in an NID, so they wouldn't have a vote at all. Or they wouldn't be part of it at all.
Well, and they would not be billed for it then
No.
either?
Right, no, yeah, they would not
Okay.
be.
Have they done a straw poll down there?
I don't know that for sure. That was one thought I had is, you know, there's no point really even entertaining the idea if you can't even get your supermajority
Right.
on board
Yeah.
right now,
I
so.
think they've done a straw vote with a bunch of different straws.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've come to a consensus on it. And maybe we're trying to give them more guidance what they have to do to come to us.
Yeah.
So,
And Jeff and I, we had a meeting with the folks down there at Carved in Stone, that's where it was held, and Jeff attended along with me and Matt Bringer, and kind of gave them the basics as we know it to the best of our knowledge. Again, these are very complex items to do, and we gained a lot of experience. You know, none of us really have been around doing the last ones that were 20 years ago. Gained a lot of experience with Parkview and Randall, but there's still a lot that's a little gray. Again, Tony Stegman handles all that very good, does a great job. But to start bringing her into the equation, it's gonna cost. She'd also have to hire, I don't remember the lady's name that does the financing part of it.
Joy Howard.
Howard, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be part of it too.
Parkview was really easy because, you know, I think everybody was in favor of it. Randall,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is the road that runs parallel to the river?
Mhm. And it's actually in a pretty good shape for a private road. I'm kind of surprised they want to go through with it, but all these situations that are privately owned roads, there's always, some people want to do this, some want to do that, and it's just hard to get a consensus, and a lot of times people resort to wanting the county to take it over just to, you know, it's gonna be plowed, it's gonna be maintained, and there's no, you know, guessing and trying to get people on board. They turn that all over to the county, and it's a process that can work. And I don't know that we want to be advocating to take on more roads, probably don't. But if people want to do that in our county, we've been supportive of working through the process and making it happen if they want to do it.
If we were to take on that road, that would create a significant maintenance burden on us being so far out with it being a gravel surface. We don't have any other gravel roads. close by.
It would
we
have
won't
to be-
take it over as gravel though, anyway.
We would have to overlay it in order to.
We're not gonna overlay it.
Yeah.
They'll have to bring it up to county standards before we would take it over. So
They would
when
have
they do
to
the
over-
NID, they're talking about paving it
Yeah,
before we take it over.
Yeah,
so.
they incur all the expense, and it's actually a chip seal road right now. Like I said, it's in pretty good shape, but it's ongoing maintenance that they have to do, and it would have to, just a rough cost that I kind of figured up, it was about $600,000.
So if they did come up with a consensus that however they set up the votes, they'd be able to get 2/3 of the vote, then they would come to us and say, we got the votes on board, now you guys need to write up a petition, and then they actually vote on it in person, but not like today, like a voting day.
They circulate it. I think there's a process for that too. They have to send it certified mail to every owner, and, you know, they have to track down if people don't turn it back, and somebody has to do that. We don't.
So they do that?
They do that. Okay. Usually one person kind of takes the lead on coordinating all that.
So they get their petition, and once they vote, can they change their vote? Or can they change their mind? Or once we have that, we're ready to go?
I think once they vote, then it's a done deal. The problem a little bit is if you estimate too low and it comes in over, they have to vote for any amount that goes over. That's a little concern I have, because in the past, we've kind of prepared the estimates for them. I think it puts us a little bit at risk if we're the ones doing the estimate that they use to base their petition on, and then now all of a sudden that's too low. Are they gonna come back and say, hey, county, you messed up and gave us a too low of an estimate? So it's a little concern, and one idea is and we haven't done this in the past, but one idea, they have to hire their own engineering company to do an estimate, and they use that instead of one that we would prepare.
Is this road sit in a floodplain?
It does.
And does that add to the issue?
It could, and that's a concern of mine. If we estimate too low and we get in and start trying to build this road and the subgrade's bad and you gotta put shot rock the whole way through. That's a common occurrence in these situations, so, you know, if you estimate on the high side, you figure putting it over the whole length of the road, and then it's really will be costly with that. But we got a contingency built into it. Generally, it's about a mile long. We figure about $500,000 a mile for upgrading a road.
But I think you need to put into the contract that could occur, and if it does occur, it's gonna be an additional expense to them.
But I think there's a window there where we become a little liable for a while until it gets into the NID process, is what the big question is. And I think, Harry, since you haven't, it'd be nice if they're serious about it, maybe get Tony Stegman here to explain that whole procedure again. And she will say that the county is kind of taking the liability for a while. So.
Well, I'd like to see us pursue it. If we have neighbors, citizens who want to improve their residents by improving their road and are willing to pay for it through this approach, I'm certainly willing to go that direction with them. It's, as you say, it's complicated. It takes the supermajority, but if they want to go for it and if it's 600,000 and by 25, that's $24,000 a lot, rough and dirty, divided by 20 years, they can, I guess they get hit with the interest on that too. So, but if they want to do that, I think we should.
They can pay it up front too.
They can pay it up front, exactly, right.
Yeah.
One-time decision though.
Because we had some who did that at Parkview, I think.
Okay.
I mean, in the timeline, do you approve the first 5 steps that they have to come to you? They have to do all their legwork first. I mean, this is nothing we can go after at this point. I think, at what point does the county engage Tony Stegman? And
I think once they pass the 2/3, folks that have committed, although maybe not legally binding, but say that they want this to go forward, if they got at least the 2/3, I think we can go ahead and take the chance that we really won't be stuck with that legal fee because it gets rolled into the cost, right?
Yes.
Okay. So.
More or less have them do a straw poll.
Mm-hmm.
They need to provide evidence or documentation that, yeah, this is
You know, you're familiar with letters we get from people on other roads that seem like they've got every homeowner on that road saying, need a speed limit, or you need a sign, or you need this or that. Well, this one they want to spend their own money to do this.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'll reach out to them and tell them that the commission would like to see a little more concurrence from the 2/3 majority that they want to move forward. And then should they come here and just more or less
They
present
just need to get a signed petition, I would say, and who's all on that, because if you have 2/3 of them sign a petition to do it, I think that gives us some leverage to move with it.
It would be nice to have the ringleaders, if that's what we want to call them, to appear here and say, you know, they're on record, and yes, my neighbor did sign it. I didn't sign it for him, and here they are.
Okay, I think what I'm gathering is, I think it makes total sense that we'll tell them they could submit to the county a petition
Mhm.
with 2/3 signatures to move forward with this. They can come and talk to you all in a commission meeting.
Do they make the decision as to whether it's linear foot or parcel, or how
That's
is?
the attorney, and as I understand it, they draft that so it is defendable in court if somebody objects after the project's done and they object to being assessed.
Piece of property sells, make sure that's
Right.
all in there.
yeah, Randall Court, we had the hearing, we had some dissenters,
Yes.
and it was pretty, it was,
So that's that window of,
Yes,
you know,
so-
liability if somebody
so,
sells their
uh,
property.
yeah, you had some property owners who didn't want
You know, I've heard some property owners, not in this case, but in some cases saying, I'm the first lot, so I'm only gonna use the first 50 feet, and the guy at the end is gonna use it all, so he should pay for.
to. Randall Court was more rental properties, where this is more, so, yeah.
Okay, that's good enough for me. I appreciate the feedback, and we will proceed that way. And at some point, probably in the somewhat near future, they'll come and present it. They'll be the ones presenting.
Tell them to
it
talk to
you.
Jeff.
Yeah, they can,
Yeah.
get it on the agenda through Jeff, so,
We'll talk to the ringleaders again.
yeah. Okay,
Okay,
very good, thank you.
do we have anything else before we go into closed session?
What about these chairs for the judge? Just thinking about that, we were talking about getting them through MVE, or can't we get them through Staples or wherever? We have state contracts, because the ones from MVE seem like they're really expensive. Where do we get our chairs from?
She usually checks whatever is on state contract.
Is that just MVE?
Oh, no.
No,
Staples is on, isn't it? Yeah, yours came from Staples.
Are they usually a lot cheaper than MVE?
Yes.
I think we need to take a look at those. We just need to
I
talk
can
with
have
Kristen, get
Jessica give him some ideas of ones and
Yeah.
then see where we
I
go.
just-
No, we need to get him chairs.
I saw a $1,200 price tag on that stuff, and it seemed a little bit absorbent, so
Well, I
just,
thought it was like $750 a chair, which probably isn't that. It was $1,500, but I thought it was for 2 chairs.
It is,
there's
yeah,
a
one,
bench and a chair or something, I wasn't sure what the.
what's the chair behind the bench?
I was just
Oh,
writing down
It's,
what
chair.
it says, yeah, it's kind of
Two
like
chairs.
these chairs, yeah, this is our bench.
Okay.
You can have this one, I'll just get one of them little balls to work on my, like sit on that, work on my abs while I'm,
I'll have
and I won't hit
Jessica-
that lever and about break my leg. That hurts.
I'll have Jessica check it out.
So,
Okay,
yeah, just have her do that in the meantime, and, because I think we just need to get that chair taken care of.
Okay.
okay. And then a reminder that next week's commission meeting will be on Wednesday, August 11th, because on Tuesday, we will be at the Missouri Bicentennial at the Capitol with Harry getting us VIP seating.
I'm getting you euchre seats, Sam.
Oh,
You know what euchre seats are?
no.
Jeff knows.
It's not in the front row.
Anyway,
Okay, I'll make a motion pursuant to Chapter 610.021 of the revised statutes of Missouri. The commission will go into closed session to discuss the following: personnel issues under Section 610.021, paren 13, close paren.
Second.
roll call?
Aaron,
Aye.
Aye.
Jeff?
Yes.
Okay.